Hey, good morning to all of you. It is a great pleasure to be here to talk about automation as part of thought leadership video series. Automation has been there from the day one of human evolution, and it has evolved across multiple centuries. So, to quote some examples of automation, I can take our epic Ramayana, where King Ravana defeated Kubera to capture the Pushpaka Vimana, the chariot which can travel on the air and it faster than our jet or uh, any other transport mechanisms that we have now. So human beings have been fascinated with automation, and we have seen way back when Aladdin and other stories came in, right? The magic carpet, where you can travel between places with the lightning speed. Automation also grew up a lot from a largely in 1940s and 50s when the automobile industry and mechanical industry were trying to automate things. The word automation itself was coined way back in 1946 by a Ford engineer, where he mentioned about mechanization, automation of the production lines that is used for producing automobiles. So, what is automation? Why we need automation? Automation has been useful for the humans altogether to reduce the effort and to simplify repetitive tasks so that humans can spend that the time and energy on something that is more valuable than the task that they are currently doing. So this includes inventions of a pulley or a lever which can lift heavy weights much simpler, or it can be engine that is being manufactured, steam engine or any engine, right? So there has been automation there all along, and specifically the mechanical process and automobile industry has seen this, where mechanical devices, pneumatics, hydraulics, microcontrollers, and computers are used in tandem to automate many of the repeated tasks done within the factories or production. Later part of 19th century, we have had this automation even into the medical and healthcare industries, where even surgery, minute and complicated surgery can be done by robots, right? So it is going to be there, right? Automation is going to be there, and it is going to help humans evolve going forward in life. I've had my own personal experience with respect to automation when I did my first job after my college graduation as a mechanical engineer, joined a paper manufacturing company as a project engineer. And I was working on one of the key projects where one of the key initiatives was to automate the paper machine manufacturing. And Asia Brown Brewery, ABB, delivered a distributed control system to automate the overall paper machine manufacturing. So right from the way the pulp flows across the paper machine, how it is controlled on the felt, the presses which removes the water, right? So the pressure that is going to be given to that, and the temperature control and pressure control of the heating devices, the big drums that heats the paper lines, and then how it gets shined in the calendar and then get cut and rewinded in the winder. The entire process is automated using pneumatics, hydraulics, electrical control systems, instrumentations, and then computer systems. So today, I'm not going to talk about the automation that is achieved in the manufacturing industry and the process industry and how it is evolving. But I'm going to focus more towards how IT industry has evolved and how automation is playing a very vital role for the business process industries. For this, we need to understand more about how the IT ecosystem works as a whole. The IT ecosystem has three mighty components, which is the IT infrastructure, your applications, and the business process that runs on the application. So it's being used by the business process organizations. The IT infrastructure is nothing but your networks, your storage devices, and your servers and other components, right? And applications like SAP, Enterprise Resource Planning applications, ERP, or Oracle's ERP. Those run on top of this infrastructure. It may not be even SAP and Oracle ERP or a Siebel CRM systems. It can be any custom-built applications as well, which runs on those infrastructure. So those applications help with the business processes, with the organizations and enterprises wants to execute. So organizations thought that there is a lot of scope for IT automation as well. And this has evolved and come a long way. So the overall information technology, we can have three types of automation. One is infrastructure automation, which is called IT automation. Next is application automation, and then is business process automation. Infrastructure automation is how do I provision my storage, network, servers to any organizations, enterprises, startups, or individuals right at the click of a button. So with the advent of the cloud computing by AWS or Google or Azure, the IT automation has evolved where at the click of a button you can provision infrastructure. So right level of automation is reached there and there is much more progress that is made, but enough of automation is done in this space. Then you build applications, be it SAP, be it Oracle, be it Siebel CRM, Salesforce, or any custom built applications. These applications have to be built to be integrated with components, deployed seamlessly. So you have your continuous integration, continuous deployment automation. So application functional testing automation, application performance testing automation, you have security automation, and you do all that in your continuous integration, delivery and deployment, where you can deploy your code on the infrastructure that is provisioned by the IT automation team. So once you have your applications deployed in the infrastructure, then those can be used by the business process organization enterprises for running their business. So what is business process? A simple example of a business process is a simple organization wants to purchase some materials. It can be a raw material, or they want to set up an office, they want to buy a chair, it can be procurement of machines, or IT systems, or computer, whatever be the case. So they use a custom built or an enterprise resource planning application where they can purchase, submit a requisition for a code, they receive the code, then they decide who they have to order this particular purchase to. So they order to the respective vendor, and the vendor delivers the material, you receive the invoice, then you take it to the accounting using account receivable, account payable, GL systems to make the payment. So the entire process from making the purchase requisition, issuing the order, receiving the materials, receiving the invoice, and making the payment and closing the overall process. Everything is a business process. There is a lot of human effort involved to execute these processes even with the software that is available. So there is a repetitive task that has to be performed by this business process and needs for this whole process to work. Be it a purchasing department, be it a finance department, or be it a HR department, or be it a sales or marketing department. So there is going to be a lot of business process SMEs who will have to understand the process and do these repeated tasks. So this also the industry decided that, right? This part of the business process automation is also this required. So that came robotic process automation. So way back in 2005 and 2010 period, so organizations like UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, these organizations came in and then they looked from automating these processes, which can help the business process organizations to reduce the repetitive activity, and the business process and SMEs can spend on work that is going to be high value to the organization. So what is robotic process automation? So each of the business process steps that is being performed by the business process SME, is there a way the systems itself can execute it, right? I receive a purchase requisition quote. So I receive the quote and feed into the system automatically. And when I make the purchase order, I don't manually do the entry. So you take the data from whatever quotation given by them and then automatically make those entries and then issue the invoice. And once you receive the issue the purchase order, and once you receive the invoice from the vendor, automatically can I read those PDF documents or images of the invoice and automatically create the invoices and take it for to finance to process the payment, right? So the entire journey can be automated using robotic process automation with very less or no human intervention. But that again a problem came. The problem is organization used a lot of custom applications like SAP, ERP, CBOW. So disparate systems and where they don't talk to each other. And there were many manual steps that is being performed by business process SMEs, which are neither documented in any of the business process mapping or documentation. So when enterprise organizations wants to digitally transform their business and accelerate their automation, they invested a lot on use for robotic process automation tools, and many of the investments did not get the return of investment. The reason being, they could not identify the right process to automate, or even if they choose a process to automate, they could not complete it successfully because there were gaps. So there was a lot of initial effort that was being spent by business process SME and automation engineers to remap the business process, identify the gaps, fix them before they even automate. So 50 to 60% of the investment that is being spent on these automation projects is spent on the initial phase, right? This hampered the acceleration of robotic process automation. So that is a solution that is required here. The other part is the business process gaps, which is just in the heads of the business process SMEs, which is not there in the IT systems. Sometimes the business process SME has to download an Excel, make some changes, then upload it, and then make some minor major changes in the data after 2-3 steps, and again upload it for the systems to process. Is there a way those manual steps also can be solved? So that came the low code, no code framework, which enabled the business process SMEs or the citizen developers to build simple apps and automation on their own. So with the robotic process automation, with the low code, no code framework, organizations could leverage and then bridge the gap and then automate. But one problem that is still not solved is, right, business process SMEs as the business process of the knowledge, and it is not completely documented. But this is a key aspect to accelerate the automation journey. So process mining was looked as one another option where this can be enabled, and then we can use the event logs from each of those systems to map the business processes and use it for automation. But that again, the drawback is not all systems have event logs, and those processes which is done manually by the business process SMEs are not captured in the event logs. So still there is a gap that needs to be addressed. So that again, process discovery. The concept of process discovery is when a business process SME is going to perform the business processes in his laptop or desktop, can I capture those information and build intelligence by capturing those information and then map the business processes. By this way, the entire business process journey can be captured, reviewed with business process SMEs and automation engineers, and the information captured in the system can be directly used by the RPA tools to do further automation. There are very few organizations who have made progress in this area, like UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Creon Systems, HGO from Infosys, but there is a lot more work that needs to be done to make this business process automation journey to accelerate at a rapid pace in the coming days. So there is a lot more opportunity and exciting work lying in front of this IT automation or robotic process automation, where usage of artificial intelligence, machine learning, process discovery, where you need deep learning and reading images, videos, and then making business process mapping all this is going to evolve, and in the forthcoming years, we are going to have solutions which is going to help automate the entire business process in a faster and a quicker way. So there has been a lot of concern that this automation is going to take away the job opportunities of IT engineers and business process engineers. Um, but what I see is the opportunity that is lying in front of us, where the business pros and SMEs and IT engineers can cross-skill, upskill in this newer technology regime, where they can effectively upskill them and add value to the organizations and help in the automation journey. So with this, right, I would like to thank all of you for patiently listening to me for the past 10 to 15 minutes, where I would explain my understanding about automation and how IT automation is growing and how it is going to change the way the things are happening in the industry. So thanks a lot, and we'll meet next time. Thank you.